Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. We're coming out of yesterday in today. Oh, what a day it was yesterday. Yesterday was Ashwaji Bola Tinubu's birthday, his 70th. And by the way, I was looking towards my guest, one of them this morning, Mr. Dari Odufo, assistant editor of The Nation newspaper. A fine morning to you, Dari. Thank you very, very much for coming on. So there was everybody, you know, it's been happening for 12 years now. This is the 13th year. The dignitaries were in the hall. Everybody was arriving. I understand, if not the president, then his representative, they were all on their way. And then
the vice president was on
the vice president was on his way to the event. And then Tinubu, you know, had to cancel that, you know, in deference, in respect, in sympathy with, as he put it, around a bit more than 60 people that had perished in a terrorist attack in a plane that, a train that had over 700 people aboard. These were the figures we hear. It'll get clearer. Since then, the presidency has also, you know, gone out and we've heard that the president has met with service chiefs and security chiefs and has given some, you know, urgent directives. Of course, everybody is sad. But that was totally out of the blue. Nobody knew that was going to happen. And I suppose, let's first of all, we have a package on it. We'll take it and then we'll come back to studio and talk. Let's just look at Tinubu cancelling his 13th birthday colloquium.
It's a major colloquium being a run-up to the 2023 general election. Dignitaries from across the world graced the event. The Bola Tinubu Colloquium has been an event used in shaping Nigeria's socio-political and economic decisions.
Well, he's a man that is totally detribalized. He's a man that's able to forget sentiments and be able to look at talents.
The arrival of the celebrant kick-started the event that was well organized. Participants and observers from around the world have been looking forward to the intellectual discussions that usually lead to tangible outcomes that often marked the colloquium. But attendees got a shocker when the celebrant mounted the podium.
I've just been informed since I've been back and forth with prayers and worrying. I didn't pay attention to the news. And I've just been informed of a very sad incident in our country. Very sad indeed. That over 60 people and many more were killed and bombed on the train between Kaduna and Abuja. That is a very serious incident. I will urge the two clergies who are here present, continue to pray, and every one of you to go home and pray.
As soon as he made the announcement, puzzled guests while leaving the venue of the 13th Bola Tinubu Colloquium with the theme Pivoting Nigeria into the New World Order, Imperatives of Good Governance, said it is the right decision.
It is his humanity coming to the fore, and I agree with him.
He has just proved what I know of him. Very selfless leader.
This is unprecedented in the history of the Bola Tinubu colloquiums that started in 2009, and it will go down memory lane as the first colloquium cancelled by the celebrants due to loss of lives. Adedoja, Salama Deniyi, TVC News, Lagos.
The subject matter is one of them, at least, that we'll be looking at today, because we'll probably also go into the terrorist attack on the train, the Kaduna Abuja bound train. We've been joined by Mr. Joe Igbokwe, APC chieftain. Joe, it's always good to have you.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you. You were there yesterday yourself. I'm imagining, as you were yourself, were you there? Yes. Right. A lot of people were there. We saw all, in fact, too many dignitaries to immediately recall instantly without runners. They were all there. It's, you know, And then this happened. Starting with you, Joe, were you surprised? Because a lot had gone into the preparation. Clearly, a lot, months and months of organization. And in an instant, it was cancelled because of what Tinubu referred to as the sad news. Sad news of the death of over 60 people, as he put it.
We are human, you know. Human, you know. So, if the event did not start at the venue there. That venue was just for celebration. We've done the real job in his house, Bodilon. We got there by 8. We started the prayers. You know, after the prayers, then it ended about 11:30, 12. We now moved to Eco Hotel. So the major part of the event, you know, had been concluded even before that one. Yes. So it's not a surprise to some of us. We are being human, you know. Something happened.
Yeah.
Something happened. People died. Billions investment Nigeria had done over the years, where billions of dollars were invested, are being rendered nugatory, you know, and people are dying also. And you don't expect us to celebrate. There's so many things to, you know, put in place, you know, to make us happy yesterday. We celebrate our leader, but we felt that we need to pay attention to what happened in Kaduna.
And Tinubu also held a 1-minute silence for the repose of the soul, for the soul of those that had passed. Look, it's a sacrifice. Tinubu took the decision almost instantly, not quite, but almost instantly, because it did look, when he arrived, there you see him, you see all the jolly going on, everybody cool, calm, expectant. So at this stage, it doesn't seem to me that anything had been known yet, because as he was to say in the clip that you just...
They had just been informed.
He said he had been informed.
For me, what happened yesterday was typical of Ashwaju Tinubu. He's a man who has always tailored his actions to be in tune with the mood of the nation. There have been instances like this, even when he was governor, when he had to take some decisions to respect the mood of the country. Yesterday, just before his arrival, and we were all going through social media, we were there, all of us reporters, editors, journalists, were together in a place discussing and reviewing what was, coming out of social media as regards these happenings in Kaduna. And one of us, deputy editor of the National Daily, did say that he would not be surprised if Ashwaju gets here now and cancel this event. Few people expressed their pessimism that the event is already on the way and all that. But when Ashwaju walked in, you would know that he was not aware. He was quite relaxed yesterday, in mood for his day, and he had people around him. He was expressing that usual happiness of celebration. But I guess that the moment he was informed, he had this difficult decision to make, and typical of him, he usually always ready to sacrifice everything personal. Indeed.
That's the point you made. This is personal.
I will argue that with anybody.
This is personal. It's about
that
me.
Is why
I'm canceling.
Look at if
because
somebody,
that is about all of us.
All of us. If somebody else had done that, people came from, far and near, and then he announced it. But you know why people reacted the way they did? They foresaw it. He is one man who can do something like this. And he didn't disappoint those who felt he would cancel the event. It's a huge sacrifice on his part, but it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do at that moment. The nation was in mourning.
Yeah. Joe, before you come in, I want to introduce Group Captain Sadiq Garba Shehu, retired. He joins us via Zoom. He's a former military officer and former deputy head of security of African Union Commission in Addis Ababa. He's now a private security and defense consultant trainer. Good morning to you, Group Captain. Good morning, Group Captain. Okay.
Good morning.
Okay. Okay. Now we have you.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning to you. We hear you now. You know, just looking at the event yesterday, the 13th Colloquium, everybody was expectant. It's a major event, had been months in the planning, but it was cancelled. And it was cancelled for, you know, a very good reason, because of the, quite frankly, the terrorist tragedy where a train had been bombed and derailed and then shot into further. And we're hearing that around 60 people died out of the over 700 reported to have been on the train. Now, that was the biggest train disaster in our very young train history. The fact that the terrorists were able to wreak that much havoc, does it surprise you, Group Captain, considering that we were beginning to think that our security efforts were paying off, and then for this rude slap to have happened?
Well, it's always easy to be wise after the event. I'll be honest to say that to me, as a security consultant, I never thought that the threat of terrorists will include going after a moving train. Unlike here, I differ with most people who said it's not surprising. To me, it was surprising for many reasons. Psychology of crime. You see, a criminal will always look for something that gives maximum return for minimum effort. From the criminals or the terrorist point of view, attacking a moving train, you know, requires a lot of logistical planning and resources. If a terrorist wants to attack, if it is purely either for money, I think there are easier targets to attack than a moving train. So for me, from that aspect, it really surprises me, because the planning, the resources, the expertise, you know, the connections required to pull that off are very, very, you know, extensive. Yet these people went after. So in that aspect, I was surprised. Now, the success of the attack, does it surprise? It doesn't. I am happy this is the first time I'm pronouncing myself on this event. I waited until I hear different people, you know, the software himself and other, you know, security experts. So maybe I'm standing on the shoulder of a giant when I make my comment. But when I analyze all these things, what I find is that in as much as the arrival of train was a very good news to every Nigerian, especially with the hazard association with road transport, what I gather, especially from what the Minister of Trade will not integrate security and safety in the design of the
Well, the network is playing up, Group Captain, we'll come back to you as soon as we can for you to continue your analysis. Because interesting there, on the one hand, you were surprised that they could take on such a target, but on the other hand, you were explaining how you weren't really surprised about it. Joe, this kind of attack seemed to be one of those that was trying to send a communication out there. These are, I mean, it's a soft target. It's a soft target. If there were armed guards on board, there would have been few, because this kind of a thing. And as the group captain started off by saying, it's very easy to be wise after the event. In other words, hindsight is 20/20 vision. I imagine, and the president has since pronounced, I was reading something from the president's office on Twitter yesterday, that a meeting has been held with the security chief, and he has issued some directives, all leading towards making sure that this doesn't happen ever again. But then the frustrating thing is that we've heard those kind of expressions of
it shouldn't happen again.
This shouldn't happen again. Joe, give me your thoughts on this kind of attack, and pending when we get back to the security analyst, it looks like these people almost think that they have us where they want us, that they can strike at any time and cause this kind of havoc.
I heard somebody this morning and he was talking about destruction of our harvest, decimation of our harvest. And if you look at it, it looks as if it's a coordinated, action to bring. This thing happened some time ago. It's not the first place. We have seen it in I think Norway. I don't know why. Close to elections, season. Election was about to be held, and something went on. Some people attacked a train station and killed a great number of people. To me, I see it as being political, and that we have to play with the lives of people because of politics. Again, you look at the investment.
Everybody that was injured or those that unfortunately died in that
somebody don't need to die.
Yeah.
It's strange to us that you have to go and police all the rail, thousands of miles of rail lines, sometimes it goes into the bush. It's not something you see. Sometimes you see it, by the side of the road. Others it goes into the bush. So, are you saying that we have to line up police or security from Kano to Lagos or to, inside the bush? We're just thinking.
Let me bring that thought back to the group captain, Sadiq Garba Shehu, who I think the network has been kinder and we have him back. So, group captain, we're back here. So you were just explaining, the aspects in which you were surprised and that in which you weren't surprised, and the difficulty, if you want. I'm beginning to read from what you are saying. You're implying that the sophistication of the attack surprised you.
Yes, but what I'm saying, from what I hear from the Minister of Transportation and from other stakeholders, we made a fundamental error in not integrating safety and security measures in the design of our railway system, good as it is. Because what we find now is that the Minister publicly said that we are looking for security gadgets to install. My thinking is that in modern security, in what is called crime prevention through environmental design, right from the way you design your railway station, you have to start thinking of security. The gadgets that we're trying to inculcate now, it is going to be a little cumbersome trying to think of security gadgets as an add-on, instead of being a fundamental part of planning the railway. But then it's never too late. What I'm saying is that in planning any infrastructure, right from design, you have to think of security and safety to attack that. Now, if we didn't do that, we're trying to do it now, we have to do it. But then again, in looking at security of railway systems, railway transport has certain vulnerabilities, which anybody planning security will have to take care of the vulnerability. One of the vulnerabilities is large area coverage. In my research, we have over 5,000 kilometers of rail lines across the country. Some of these tracks pass through inaccessible, bushy or forested areas. So this is one vulnerability we have. It makes it very easy for somebody who wants to attack the rail line where it crosses, places that are not near town or inside bushes. The second vulnerability of rail transport is that for any train, it has a fixed routine. It is leaving Kaduna 4 o'clock. It is arriving Abuja 6 o'clock. It is moving from Lagos at this time. It is arriving in Ibadan at this time. So again, that's another vulnerability, because it makes an attacker to have a predictable planning.
Well, we're getting a sense of it. The network is not exactly cooperating, but we're getting we're making sense out of what you are saying. Dari, this again, we'll get the security consultant back. I'm worried because it looks like these people seem to be able to strike at will, and that, I think, is one of the things the group captain was about to talk upon. Say, look, how do we go about this? You can't police every meter of track,
That's what Chief just said here.
Inside the bush.
If we have to, I mean, in the bush, he meant the train becomes vulnerable because there are so many places you cannot access on its route. Now,
and by the way, sorry, in terms of how this happened, I think what we're understanding and we're seeing from some of the close-up shots of the track that we got is that the track, it was booby-trapped.
Yeah, it was booby-trapped and
an insane IED.
By the time the train was getting to those areas, it had to derail or something.
Yeah. So the train was now derailed until it stopped, and then they attacked and started shooting into a coach.
Into the train. I mean, to the coaches. You see, it's sad that we are where we are today. We are fellow Nigerians, I want to assume, who sit down and decide that we will attack what is a national asset. Not only that, we will attack a train with coaches that are carrying fellow Nigerians.
So what is the point? If there is a point,
what is the point? If there is a point, you said it. The point they want to make is to tell you we are not done yet.
We are still here.
We are here. Yeah, you are chasing us out of Sambisa. And you know how painful this is? I still saw some reports yesterday, sir, that describe these people as bandits. You see, we are not helping. These are terrorists. These are international criminals.
The presidency is now using the term terrorist attacks.
How can you call somebody who attacked the moving train, killed innocent people, a bandit? I still saw some reports. You see, they are trying to tell us that you can chase us out of Sambisa, you can bomb us all the way in Zamfara, but we can identify soft targets, go for it, and keep all of you in money. If that happened in Kaduna, they will be thinking of other areas of the country where they can do the same thing and make us feel the impact just the way we are feeling now. And therefore, the presidency and our security chiefs must wake up and take this battle more seriously, I would say, in a way that we must force the hands of these criminals to their back. We must find a way of doing it. Otherwise, they'll keep us on our knees, and this is not good for us as a country.
As Asiwaju Tinubu said yesterday in counseling the event, he said it was a sad occurrence, and it really requires deep and sober reflection.
Affirmative action.
You know, yes, deep and sober reflection, and maybe part of that, because we were then to hear around 5 o'clock or so yesterday a Twitter statement from the presidency that, by the way, meetings had been held, with security chiefs, and the president had issued a number of directives. As I said, all of them, that these people must be fished out. They must account for their deeds. They must be made.
Actions carry consequences.
Yes. And then ultimately to make sure that this never happens again. Group Captain Garba Shehu, if you're still with us, the deep and sober reflection that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu had opined yesterday was what was required, and part of that was from him as an individual. He's cancelling any festivities around his personal milestones. The deep and sober reflections, that's, I think, what you were on. What are the options here, given the difficulty of this challenge? Because it would seem that the terrorists that are doing this are bent on putting out a certain communication, shall we say.
That's exactly what I meant. When you look at the efforts versus the reward, I would like to think that what the terrorists wanted to do is just to send a message. Because if it's just for the purpose of picking people to ransom, I think there are easier targets than the moving train. They wanted to send a message, and they have sent a message. Another, before please I proceed, another vulnerability of train transport, because we are asking for solutions now, is ambiguity of the security management. What do I mean here? If you go to a typical railway station, you will see the railway security guards, you will see police, you will see civil defense, where there are weapons in charge of arrangement. There is this saying that where a work is everybody's work, it cannot be nobody's work. When you have multiple security agencies in charge of a security function, there is tendency to be gaps, because then Mr. A might think Mr. B is going to be, Mr. B might think Mr. C is going to be, and it is possible nobody does it. So it is necessary to have a single organization that is in charge of railway security. The last, that is the last item last item I want to talk about, the vulnerability of the station is the chaotic nature of a train station. From how people are checked, how people how baggages are checked, it is possible. If there is no timing, for example, in some countries, again here it is everybody's business, not only the railway corporation or the railway worker. You have to arrive at a train station maybe some minutes or 30 minutes before you are traveling. There should be a procedure which says if you come 30 minutes before the train, you are not going to enter. Why is that so? If you have been at any train station, and I have passed through the Kaduna train station, when it is 5 minutes for the train to leave, I can be sure that baggage checking, even passenger checking, is not done as supposed to be. Okay. Now, for a criminal who wants to carry a dangerous something into the train, because I want us here not only to think that these people
we certainly seem to be having bandwidth challenges. Yes. Captain, sorry about this. The bandwidth is what it is, but I quickly want to ask you this question. Look, has the time now come, in the light of this, kind of event, to really take the battle to the terrorists? So far, there are those of us that think that we've been using, shall we say, kid gloves with the matter simply because we are all Nigerians. I think that is the attitude. And it seems that there is an intention to rehabilitate as many as can be rehabilitated as our brother. So we don't bring the full weight of our might down on these brother Nigerians that are acting as terrorists. Has the time come now to take off the gloves, so to speak, to use a metaphor? And now really do the needful.
Thank you very much. The theory that we have been using kid gloves on the terrorists, and now we should remove the gloves so that they can see our golden fist or our iron fist. Unfortunately, I do not share that opinion. I have been on several media where I said, even for the clamor, declare them terrorists, declare them terrorists. I accepted it in as much it was a general consensus that should be declared terrorists. But I caution, declaring a terrorist in itself, changing the
well, it's such a pity. But it's such a pity, Group Captain. But I think you are saying, just in case the line gets clearer, I think you're saying that the very act of declaring them a terrorist changes the paradigm. Is that right? That the very fact that you even have now declared, we now have declared them a terrorist, were you saying that that has its own impact on this war against terrorism?
Well, to me, the impact is minimal if you do not increase the other variables of the capacity, capability, mobility, ability to collect intelligence. If you do not improve that, guys, and unfortunately that's what we are seeing. Just changing the name is not working because we did not increase the variable. They are still attacking, they are still going, and I'm not among those people who think that we are using soft hands on them. What I have said, even before the changing of the name, my understanding is that our military, our police, our intelligence services, they were using all they have, even without changing of the name. The problem is that all we have is not enough to confront the challenge. Okay. But rather, changing capacity, capability, how fast,
a very bad line connecting us, but we are still able to get something. And what I did get from what you were saying is that the whole issue about maybe kid gloves with terrorists, that you beg to differ because you are aware that we were actually bringing all that was at our disposal to this particular engagement. And I think the implication of that is that our all is not enough. And that's maybe patriotic Nigerians are feeling that, Nigeria, okay. No, if it's just that we are trying to, be moderate. But to hear that, that we are bringing all that we have to the fight, and in spite of that, we're still getting these, I was going to say vexatious, but it's not vexatious. It's much, much more than vexatious. It's I can't think of the word right now, but if up to 60 persons, according to the reports, that probably need to be verified still, lost their lives in a train of over 700 people, then there is a problem. We have somebody on the line. Francis. Good morning, Francis.
Yes. Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Good morning, sir.
Yori.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I just want to react to the unfortunate incident. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very clearly.
I said I want to react to the unfortunate incident that happened on the Kaduna route. It's quite unfortunate. This goes to show that all these things that our military keep talking about, this and that, how the entire place is well protected, are just a mirage. It's not happening. I do not want to go to the line of what Lai Mohammed comes all the time to tell us, oh, we are doing this or we are doing that. The whole thing is that what we are seeing today is heartbreaking. The international community, everybody is watching. And then also reacting to Atuaju calling off his birthday bash that was supposed to take place. He said he's a senior citizen of the country. He should have gotten information. He has more information than me and you. So there was no reason for him to even gather there, because the whole essence of what he wanted to achieve, the one is saying is to show us that Ganduje and the rest of them are with him in his presidential bid. They could have called off that show without gathering people there to make those announcements, because for me it was unnecessary. What has happened today as we speak, Uncle Yori, we're not even thinking of how to lower our mask. To say, look, the nation is in a very sad, terrible mood. What we are playing with, look, Uncle Yori, you are sitting down there. It will come to all of us if we don't stop this thing that is happening. If we don't, that studio, when it gets to the time the thing will be overblown overboard, you will be there, just like what we saw the last time during the NSAS and all that. So we have to deal with this issue of terrorism, whoever they are. The military needs to come out with all might and stamp them out. This is not a question of international community again. It is becoming unsafe to dwell as a citizen of Nigeria. And we play politics with it. It's unfortunate. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much
for calling in. Joe, were you... I was surprised, quite frankly, let me say, I was surprised when a group captain, Garbashi, who retired, said that he happens to have it on good authority that our boys in uniform, all our security paraphernalia, are actually giving this all that they've got. I am surprised because there was a time we were talking about special, some aircrafts coming in, and we said that is going to make a big difference, only for these people to virtually, what they're doing exactly is thumbing their nose at us.
Well, like I said.
And this, the group captain just said that Nigeria is throwing all it has at them. It's just that I can't query a specialist, a security specialist, who says that Nigeria is throwing all that it has at the problem. And these are the results we're getting.
We need to go extra miles, and be proactive, not reactive. You see, first, when the construction of that rail project was still going on, people were vandalizing it. We saw those rail materials being loaded in trucks, dismantled and being loaded in trucks to go and sell. We saw it. Now we are seeing the attacks. This is an attack on the nation.
Indeed, indeed.
This is an attack on Nigeria, and we need to go extra mile to track this and that. Exactly. I know how much Nigeria has spent on this project. Billions of dollars. We don't need to allow. We must not allow anybody or group of people to render it nugatory.
Indeed.
In Lagos here, Commissioner of Police
yes.
told us to say, when you see something, say something.
Say something. Okay.
Everybody must get involved.
Okay. When you say attack, this is an attack on Nigeria, it sort of reminded me of the expression enemy of the state, you know, and it just, the time has come when we begin to treat these people that you can't mess with Nigeria like this. I understand the hand of moderation and all of that, but this handshake, as we say locally, has reached the elbow, and is heading for the armpit. Good morning, Mr. Ade in the UK.
Good morning, Dr. Lorin, and good morning to the rest of my brothers there.
Yeah, thank you.
My contribution to this issue is this. Nigeria need to thank God. At least they should be thanking their God. Number one, 9/11 could have been repeated in Nigeria when the terrorists went to the airport last time. They could have hijacked the thing and flew to Aso Rock and land there. So we are reacting after an incident. And look at the train. I make you complain that what he needed, his colleague didn't approve it. Not the National Assembly, his colleague didn't approve it. So the sensor they have on the train, that could have abated that what happened yesterday. No one was watching what is happening in Nigeria. It's a sad thing. It's a very sad thing.
Yeah.
So they go to the airport, they could have hijacked the plane, flew to anywhere. And what are we going to be saying then? So that means nobody is still safe in Nigeria. Even anybody, either you are anywhere, you are not safe. So, and look at the train. These people have been arrested yesterday. A young girl coming overseas to start a new job. Just die like that, like people for nothing. Our authority general told us that they have 400 people sponsoring Boko Haram, but they didn't take them to court. So 400 on their list, and they didn't take them to court. Government told us by themselves. Okay, I was going to say when one of the other they said it's political. Who is political? Is the opposition? Is the opposition by themselves? If you have 400 people, you didn't prosecute them. And when you are ready terrorists, you give them actually, you say they have repented. And look at the results now.
All right, Mr. Ade. Thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Ade. Appreciate you. Now, this is a tragedy. The whole nation feels it. Ashwaju has held a minute silence for the souls of those that were killed in it. But there are also, this is personal to quite a number of people. Yeah. In fact, we have a sort of a victims impact kind of a report we put together, the loved ones of victims. Let's see if we can just take that to sort of bring this further down to the personal level of personal loss before the collective national grief on this kind of a matter.
It's the second terror attack in 5 months on a Kaduna-bound train. 24 hours after Monday's attack, several passengers are unaccounted for. Families and friends have thronged the Rigasa station in search of their loved ones. The search has also been taken online. This list shows the number of wounded receiving treatment. An unconfirmed number of passengers lost their lives, including this medical doctor. The train attack has forced the company to suspend operations on the Abuja-Kaduna route days after bandits invaded the Kaduna International Airport. And many Nigerians wonder how the assailants succeeded in pulling off such an attack. Sadiq Shehu, a counter-terrorism expert, took to Facebook to say, quote, "I do not see a deliberate end-to-end security and safety plan for our trains. Yes, there are a few things you can see, but no comprehensive end-to-end." End of quote. For his part, Senator Sani Shehu, a former federal lawmaker, posted on Twitter, quote, "The trains weren't equipped with sensors to detect explosives, and the promise of the use of helicopters to protect the trains was abandoned." End of quote. Amid the issues, the Chief of Army Staff, among other security chiefs who visited the scene, has ordered a search and rescue operation for the kidnapped victims. For officials of the Railway Corporation, this may just go down in history as the most brazen attack yet on its train. Sifon Asian, TVC News, Abuja.
Thanks to you, Stephen. That report went out earlier on our flagship news yesterday. Dari, you see this situation now? They have said that they should find these people. you know, it's so our people are not safe. They don't feel safe on the roads. Now the trains, one of the key benefits of the train is
safety.
That it's safe, it's secure. Even the air, remember?
The airport was invaded.
It was invaded, and I think some time ago they brought down one plane after taking off from Kaduna somewhere, that kind of a thing. So it looks like security-wise, we still have our work cut out for us. Group Captain Garba Shehu retired, who bandwidth is preventing from, you know, really giving us. But he was on Twitter earlier, and you know, you saw that. The group captain is complaining about he doesn't see a cohesive kind of security apparatus. He probably was using a technical term when he's speaking about he doesn't see an end-to-end aspect to our security on this kind of a national asset. Reverend Dominic, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Yore.
Thank you for calling.
Good morning to your guest.
Yes.
Yore, I want to correct you for a statement you make, and you know, my friend. Can I correct you?
Please go ahead.
Please, not everybody in Nigeria is sad. Not every Nigerian is sad. When we become sad, there's something we must do. Number one, by now we must lower our flag. Number two, we must have announced national mourning. It's a national mourning. It's a national tragedy. Over 700 Nigerians were attacked on that sensitive, you know, project we have made all the way. So if we are sad, there's action we should take. Let me talk to my brother in your left, Joey. I'm from the east, he's from the east. I pity him. When he talk about Norway, when we talk about things that happen outside Nigeria, like terrorism is everywhere. Do we talk about the attitude of government against what happened? It may happen in America, it may happen in Norway, but the attitude of governance. I want to congratulate Ashwaju. I wish he win this election, so he can bring another character to governance. When we supported the APC, when we were expecting magic, I've said several times, we're expecting a different attitude to governance, a human attitude to governance. With this APC have failed me and you, failed the transport minister who was weeping yesterday. These governments have become a failure to us. Can we bring a different attitude? We were supposed to announce the national mourning. Nobody's talking about that. The flag was to flag at half mast. Nobody's talking about that. Even the number, what is wrong with us in Nigeria? I should say 50. That one say 8. You say 700. A news I read now say it was 970 passengers. What is wrong with Nigeria? Are we this stupid? Sorry to be not good. Are we this bad? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. Joe, well, Ashwaju did hold a minute's silence, but Ashwaju is just Ashwaju. He's not the president.
He's not the president. He's not the commander-in-chief.
And he's not the commander-in-chief. And he cannot call for national mourning.
He cannot.
He cannot call for national mourning. But the point is made that, well, why aren't we seeing this as a national tragedy? Why haven't flags been lowered? Why haven't flags?
Go and start.
Why haven't
certain things that
certain symbols? Certain symbols. Why have flags not been lowered? Why have we not heard a statement and flags lowered to show? That is why the good reverend, the good reverend determined that he needed to correct me if I'm saying that everybody is sad. Where is our corporate sadness?
Yes.
Where is our corporate sadness?
Yes. You see, it's not that we do not feel it. Yeah. These things are just things you can just put up. It does not eliminate the fact that people died. We are mourning. Everybody's in the sad mood.
Indeed. Okay.
Everybody's in the sad mood. So we don't need to go and start,
those national symbols of grief.
It should come.
Okay.
It should come.
Sunday in Ijaye. Let me squeeze. Sorry, sir. Good morning, Sunday in Ijaye.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Go ahead quickly, please.
Okay. Regarding the issue of the train attack, I think. Good morning, Mr. Yori.
Good morning.
Actually, this is my first time of calling to the program.
Oh, we're delighted to have you. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, regarding the issue of the train attack and the issue of Boko Haram in Nigeria, I think that it is very simple in the sense that the federal government can liaise with Google to get a satellite imagery of all these happenings. very at instance as it is happening.
All right.
For them to be able to track all these security problems in Nigeria.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in. Did you have an opinion on the matter, the complaint by some that, you know, where is the national...
like I said, I agree perfectly with the man that we are not showing. To say we are not money is wrong. Yes, even the mood in the country shows that we are money. But the collectivity of our money should be represented by government action. The flag to come half-mast?
Unless it was so embarrassing. I mean, because upon all of our investment, this is what has happened.
No, but it shouldn't be a reason for us not to do what we should do. Okay. It is not too late yet. That is why somebody can say he sees nothing in Ashwaju's action. That why should Ashwaju wait until people are gathered? You see, it is attitudes like that makes us not appreciate.
Information. He said he was involved. He said he was involved in the activities of his event, and he had the incident, but he didn't get information.
Some of us as reporters were hearing of this thing right there at the event.
Yes.
So how should we do that? Yes. I mean, we see somebody.
We hadn't heard yesterday morning on our.
You know, you have a lot of fake news. You have a lot of fake news, so you have to be careful. You have to be careful of what you are reporting.
For Ashwaju to have done that is something we should appreciate. Okay. Now the federal government should follow suit. It's not too late. We should more. You see, the situation whereby we now see these things as common occurrence is dangerous for us.
Okay, let me see if
dangerous for us. We should do what we.
Let me see if I can still say one or two words to Group Captain Garba Shehu, retired. Group Captain, so sorry, the network situation, connectivity is what it is. If you can hear me, I just wanted to thank you. And okay, there you go. Fortunately, we got some of your thoughts on Twitter. That was part of our report where you were talking about a lack of end-to-end aspect to this whole thing. So I wanted to just any final words, Group Captain, as we let go of this connection.
Well, I will just finish with that, and what I mean by end. From the time a passenger purchases.
We're so sorry, Group Captain. It's not working. Today is one of those kind of days. But our deep thanks to you, Group Captain Sadiq Garba Shehu, retired, former military officer and former deputy head of security at African Union Commission in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, and now you know, a private security and defense consultant trainer. Thank you, Group Captain. And all the time I have now is to also thank you too. The birthday of Ashwaju that started out yesterday, the man cancelled it and then held a minute silence for the souls of all those who had gone. And well, later on we were to hear from the authorities as well, I think in the evening, that look, the authorities have also been busy, and they have made their orders, and we're looking for ways to make sure that this kind of a thing doesn't happen again. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming on. And that's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.